Good day, everyone. My name is Dr. Dionne Wells-Hedrington, and I'm here to talk about this land swap opportunity for the new school in St. John. We have been at this for the past 50 years during many different administrations, and this is the first time that we're actually at a point where this is going to be a reality. I began this journey as a Chief Operations Officer. Upon taking that position in 2019, we started aggressively looking at our footprint and how we could reduce it. We knew that we wanted equity, and so we wanted a school built on every island, a new school. And of course, on St. John, there's only one school, Julius E. Sprouse School. So based on the damages received on that property, we knew that it would qualify to be replaced. So we've been aggressively working with FEMA for those dollars. We started also to pick up where we left off in the MAP administration to secure land for the new construction. We had already looked at several sites that were produced by the community, and none quite fit what we were looking for. Most of the locals wanted leases, not sales of the property, and so we decided to go back to what was originally looked at under the Dionne administration, which was the national park property. So we began to engage in conversation with the national park. They were on board, the first time on board so positively in the past 30 years. And so we decided to engage in the land swap, which took several steps, appraisals, agreements, Congress, etc. This has been a process for the past 2.5 years. We also decided that we wanted to make sure that we were transparent. And so we came to the community and we had a series of charrettes. Those charrettes led the community to have input in what they wanted to see at the new site. Those charrettes were held in October of 2019 and February of 2020. We took the input and we designed some schematic drawings of the new property, which is the Catherineburg property. Those designs were shared with the community in flybys, and we were very pleased at the new idea for the new school in St. John at that site. While we continue to complete the bridging documents, which is 30% of the design with the contracted firm, DLR Group, we also have been working with FEMA. So we are hoping that within 3 months, we should have the obligation. And I must say to the community that it's looking very, very favorable, that the design that we envision for St. John Pre-K to 12 school will be a reality. And so for me, this is a very critical time to make sure that we have this land secured so that we can put out the bids for the design firm to finish the design and build the new school for St. John, which has been decades of a dream that is finally going to be a reality. It's a critical time because time is not in our favor. And when I say that is, we wanted to make sure that we were doing the both things together. And so while we're working with FEMA, we're also working on the designs. We're putting together the RFPs for solicitation. So everything is going to be done in tandem, as well as the land swap. And so once the swap is finalized, then we can put it out to bid. That bidding process takes maybe a year before you finalize a construction company who can do both finish the design and build. And so we wanted to time as close as we could to keep that 5-year mark to have that school completely constructed. Another thing is that this school is not just a school, it's a community center. There's no place on St. John to hold events inside. Also, we don't have any shelters. Should there ever be an event, our people have to travel from St. John to St. Thomas to seek housing. And so we wanted to make sure that we hardened the system so that we could provide a sheltering space for our community residents. I'm gonna switch hats a little bit and go to the personal aspect of this whole journey for me. I traveled from Coral Bay every single morning to catch a ferry to go to Ivana Udorican back in 1986. It was not easy waking up at 4:30. I still wake up at 4:30. That's still in my system because I've had to do that for so many years. Then when I had my children also had to get up at 4:30 to get to the ferry to catch the boat to get to school. It works when it's sunny. When it's raining, it's very bad. And so we've had to walk in rain from the ferry dock to the high school, or sometimes even from the school bus to the ferry dock. But what has hampered our journey as students from St. John is the fact that we didn't have many opportunities. At least I didn't, because I lived in Coral Bay. And so you had to catch the 3 o'clock boat to get the bus to get back to Coral Bay. Otherwise, you would have to catch a ride. My children suffered as well, because no parent wants to be stuck in Cruz Bay if you live in Coral Bay 7, 8 o'clock in the night to retrieve your child from the boat because they're involved in extracurricular activities. So that always limited what we were able to do. As a former educator, a teacher, a principal, when we shut Guy Benjamin School, it created only one public school in St. John. And I believe in choice. I believe that children should decide whether they want to remain in St. John for school or go to St. Thomas for school. We've never had choice. And something that we take for granted means a lot to students. And I think that it's time for us to do better by our children and give them that choice. So that is why it's near and dear to my heart. I want to see that children choose to travel, not that they're being forced to travel because they need a higher education. And we all say education is the priority. So let's put it as a priority for the children of St. John. So I understand the opposition of those that are some of my family members as well, who feel that we are at a place where the national park should just give the property. Reality though, the national park isn't going to give the property. And one of the things that I need to bring home to the community, the national park didn't ask us for the key. We went to the national park for the land. And I had the opportunity to visit the Key. Yes, I am 52 years old. I've never been to the Key before. And I am a resident of St. John. And so getting the opportunity to visit Whistling Key and see what it is that we were swapping, it's actually land that the National Park cannot do anything with except preserve it. I also found out that the waters around the Key have been managed for decades by the national park. And so the concerns about water rights, those will not be affected at all. They haven't been affected thus far, so nothing is going to change. So I do understand where the people are coming from in terms of us not having to give up anything else, but the reality is that's not where we are. And so we need to be proactive with this opportunity and embrace it for what it is.